going to be learning about some absolute value equations today and how to solve them. You want to recall that absolute value is just a distance from zero. It's just a distance. So if we have something like the absolute value of x is equal to 5, we could be standing at positive 5 on the number line, and that distance would be equal to 5. But likewise, the answer of negative 5 means that we are still a distance of 5 from 0. So both answers will work. If you think of absolute value as a distance, it will make more sense why it shouldn't be negative. Step 1 in solving an absolute value equation is that you need to isolate the absolute value. Step 1, you want to get the absolute value all by itself. Once you've accomplished that, then your next step is going to be to check and see if the other side of the equal sign has a positive or a 0 value. For example, here we're going to add 3 to both sides, and we're going to get that the absolute value of x plus 7 is equal to 14. So I want to check, is this negative? Nope. So I can check, I can proceed with my solving. So once you've checked whether it's positive or 0 value, it is time to solve for both the positive value of 14 and its opposite, the negative. So we're going to solve x plus 7 is equal to 14. Sorry, there's a little thing there. And we're going to also solve x plus 7 equals the opposite, which is negative 14. Because remember, when you finally take the absolute value, whether it comes out to be 14 or negative 14, the answer is still going to come out positive. So let's subtract 7 from both sides, and we're going to get that x can actually equal 7. And when we subtract 7 from both sides here, we're going to get that x can equal negative 21. If we plug both of these into the original equation, or better yet, plug it in here, it will work. Negative 21 and 7 is negative 14. And the absolute value of negative 14 does equal 14. And likewise, if you plug in regular 7 here, you're going to get 7 plus 7 is equal to 14, and the absolute value of 14 definitely equals 14. So what happens when you isolate it and you don't get a positive or a 0 value? Well, let's try that out. If you subtract 9 from both sides here, we're going to get that 5x plus 7 is equal to negative 3. I need you to stop. Stop. This has no solution. You do not need to do anything else. And that is because there is nothing that we could have in this absolute value that will come out to be negative 3. There is no distance in the world that is negative 3. So again, if you think of it as a distance, it makes sense why this side of the equal sign cannot be negative. Some of you might be asking, well, what happens if I solve it? You just did so much extra work and added like another minute to this video. Let's solve it. 5x plus 7 equals negative 3, and we're going to solve for its opposite. 5x plus 7 equals positive 3. You do not need to write this down. Just watch the nightmare that's going to happen, and I'm going to erase it. If we solve this, we're going to get that x is equal to negative 2 on this side. I'm going to plug that in for you, and you're going to see that it does not work. If we plug in negative 2, we're going to get negative 10 plus 7, which a lot of you know is negative 3. Well, what's the absolute value of negative 3? Regular old 3. So, is 3 plus 9 equal to 6? And I'm pretty sure it isn't. And that's why this is an extraneous answer. It is not an answer that we can use. And the same thing will happen even if we use this positive value of 3. There is no solution to this problem. Oops. And I'm going to just show you one thing. If we look at this graph, this is the first problem. The solution is the intersection with the x-axis, and this one was 7 and this one was negative 21, just like we had thought. If we graph the other one instead, you will see that it doesn't actually have, let's put 5x plus 7 in there. Oops. Inside here. So 5x plus 7, and I'm going to bring everyone to this side of the equal sign, so I'm going to write plus 3. So it knows to graph it. Do you see how this does not cross the x-axis at all? It's because that's why it has no solution. The x-intercepts are always the solution. So let's go back to just solving. Step 1, isolate. Step 2, check to see if the other side is a positive or a 0. And if it is, branch out and solve for the positive value and the negative value. So let's try one more. We're going to, again, isolate the absolute value. So you should do that by getting rid of anything that's addition or subtraction first. This 3 has nothing to do with the absolute value, so let's go and add it. And we are going to get, let's scooch this up, negative 2 times 5x minus 1 is equal to negative 8. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, it's negative, I don't have to do any more work. Oh, stop. Our absolute value is not actually isolated. So this 5x minus 1 needs to be all alone. So let's work on it. Let's divide both sides by 2, negative 2. So let's do that, and let's do that. And now we get that 5x minus 1 is equal to positive 4. We've isolated our absolute value. We've checked to see that this is not negative. We can totally solve this problem. And we're going to solve it for 4 and for negative 4. So you're going to do 5x plus 1 is equal to 4. You're also going to do 5x minus, oops, sorry guys, that's a minus. Don't change the signs of anything. 5x minus 1 is equal to negative 4. So I just solve as usual by adding 1 to both sides. 5x equals 5. So x equals 1. And here I'm going to add 1 to both sides, and I'm going to get that 5x equals negative 3. And you might be thinking, that's gross. Sure is. We're going to divide both sides by 5, and x equals negative 3/5. If we plug this in, it will work. This is not anything to be afraid of. It's okay to get a fraction as your answer. Now, you guys try this, and I want you to hit pause on the video. And when you're finished, unpause it, and the answer will be revealed. In 3, 2, 1, here we go. So there is the answer done. And we're going to check one last thing to find out what happens when you have extraneous solutions. What happens when you can't tell if it has no solution before solving?